up, y'all? Welcome back to The Verdict. I'm Geraldine.
I'm Zariah.
And today we have a very special guest, the one and only
Beautiful
Kendra Lara.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm really excited to be here with you all.
How are you doing?
I'm doing good. I'm happy to be back at the youth center. I came ready with my TNG swagger, and
thank you for supporting.
Absolutely, always and forever.
All right, so today we're gonna be talking about. Well, we're gonna be getting to know Kendra and like a couple of things, like her past and a little bit about her. So, yeah. So, our first question is, how would you say you were when you were younger and like in high school?
When I was younger and I was in high school, I was, this is one of the reasons why I love coming to the youth center, because I see you all being all active and good and hanging out, and I'm like, wow, I was not like that. I'm the opposite of what y'all are doing. I was the opposite of what y'all were doing when I was in high school. I struggled a lot. I had a lot of stuff going on in my neighborhood. I had a lot of stuff going on in my home with my family, and so for me, being a teenager in high school was like a really difficult time, but it was also a lot of fun. It's when I started doing community organizing work and started giving back to my community really early. So I think it was a little bit of both.
How would you say you were in high school?
How was I in high school? So I had a really hard time in high school. I went to 3 high schools in 4 years. Yeah, so I was doing a lot of moving around. So I went to 3 high schools in 4 years in 2 different states. And one of the high schools that I went to got kicked out of because I was causing too many issues and they didn't want me to come back. So I had a really hard time like finding my stride and my place when I was in high school. Really early on, I was doing really well. I had, like a 4.0 GPA, and then I ended up coming back here and I was really, really struggling for the second half. But, I got through.
Mm-hmm. So how would you say, like, how did you deal with that? Like, how did you get back on your feet, and like, how was that for you?
I had a lot of help. I think, similar to the young people here at South Street, I feel like the youth center provides a place where you're really having a lot of interaction with adults or people in the neighborhood who kind of like have your back and want to be supported. And so I grew up the same way. I grew up with a lot of adults in my neighborhood. I grew up going after school programs, ended up being involved in nonprofit organizations, doing organizing work. I had really incredible teachers that really had my back. And so the only, me being where I am today is a miracle. And it is just because people, adults in my life were taking care of me and really pouring into me, so.
Did you ever see yourself becoming like city council or anything like that?
No, not at all. No, not at all. Because I was doing so much community work when I was so young, I spent a lot of time at City Hall. So I would go to City Hall. We were asking for the city council to like increase the budget for youth jobs so that like my friends and I could have more access to programming, because there was a lot of violence in my neighborhood. And so I was really disappointed by politicians a lot when I was that age. And so for me, I didn't look at it being an elected official as something that I wanted to be or that anybody should do. I looked at the elected officials as being the people who were like not responding to the needs of my community. So I never thought I was going to be a politician.
So would you say you were like kind of like a social person when you were younger? Like you got along with everybody?
Yeah, I did. I was super social, mostly because I spent my time doing a little bit of everything. I played sports when I was in high school. I was the host of the TV show in my high school. So I was on the screen every morning in all the classrooms doing like an update, doing the weekly update at English High. Don't look it up. Don't look it up. Don't on YouTube. Don't look it up. But I was also on the robotics team, and I played sports, and I spent my time and my lunchtime playing Yu-Gi-Oh cards with some of my friends, and so I kind of knew everybody and spent time with everybody. And I was not a fan of bullies, and so I always made sure to spend time with people that I felt like other people maybe were not hanging out with or spending time with. So everybody knew me. Most people liked me, and the people who didn't like me, they had a problem.
Would you say like your actions in high school or anything like that like affected your job back then, like in the South Street, not the South Street, the youth center that you used to work for?
Yeah, it did. I think it definitely impacted. I mean, listen, I grew up in a time where we were sitting. It was like we were sitting in program and we were about to start programming, and me and my friends were all there, and somebody would walk in and say they got jumped at the train station, and we would all get up and walk out. and we were like going to Forest Hills, and we were getting on the train like to fight. Like that is kind of like the time. That's how it was when I was growing up, and so it really did have an impact on our ability to do things. But I think that because my friends and I were all like that, and we were all coming from the neighborhood, it made it easy to get everybody from the neighborhood to come to the youth center, because they were like, oh, these are our friends, and they're out here, and they're just like us, right? Like they're having the same experiences as us. So it was really easy to get people to come to the youth center, really create a space in the youth center where all of the kids in the neighborhood felt like they could come to. But yeah, I was playing both sides. I was like doing community work, and then on my free time, I was like getting into fistfights and coming into, it wasn't sustainable. So I'm glad that I made a decision to stay on the right path at the end of the day.
Would you say like it taught you discipline, like and skills to like balance with not trying to go with just automatically choosing balance with your friends or something?
Yeah, I think playing sports taught me a lot of discipline. Training, like one of the things that this is one of my when I go to an icebreaker and somebody says, what's one fact that nobody knows about you? I played tackle football on the tackle football team my sophomore year in high school. On the boys team, I was the only
on
girl
the boys team.
Yeah, junior varsity team. Because my history teacher was the coach, and I was, an angry kid, and he was like, come play football with us. And so every day after school, I trained with the boys. And this is in Florida. Football in Florida is like a big thing. So it's not like we're out in the sun training, doing sumos, running miles, we're in the weight room. Like it was, you just had to kind of continuously show up. And I felt the boys on the team, they saw me as like somebody to help. And so helping me with the weights, helping me train, they were always encouraging me. They were like, oh, she's gonna run a faster lap this time. And so that getting community with like sports teams, and this is what I mean about like adults in your life, right? My history teacher saw me, he saw that I needed support, he saw that I needed maybe a community, maybe more discipline, maybe more structure. And even though I was a girl, he was like, come and train with me on the football team. And so I think sports really gave me a lot of discipline and gave me like a lot of community, and really showed me how to like show up for myself and my team every day and not just be worried about my own stuff.
So you kind of like gained the brotherhood being on the team?
100%, yeah, 100%. It was a lot of fun. I felt really encouraged by the guys on the team. Like, I remember when they were adding weights to how much I was squatting, and I would like add an extra 10 pounds, and everybody in the weight room would be cheering. So it was a lot of fun. It was definitely a lot of fun. But it taught me, playing sports taught me a lot of discipline. I played soccer. Soccer was actually my sport, and I played soccer in college. So, being able to kind of stay with sports, maintain that discipline, and then go and play in college was really a big deal. No, go ahead.
How was college for you?
College was great. I went to St. John's University in Queens, New York, right out of high school. Yeah. I definitely traveled, and then after St. John's, I went to school in Vermont. And to the school called Goddard College, and I love it. Vermont is a second home to me. I go back as much as I can. Same thing with New York City. I was born in New York City, so my family's still there. So I go back to New York City as much as I can. The friends that I made in college are my lifelong friends. They are the people who I'm doing life with. They're the godparents to my children. They're their aunts and their uncles, and we see each other all the time. So college was actually a really good time. It was a time where I felt like I got, after having a really hard childhood and teenage years, it felt like I got control of my life. So it was a really good time. I really encourage people to do their best to go to college, to leave home when they go to college. It really is transformative. It changes your life.
So I heard you have a son.
I do.
Tell me how it is balancing motherhood and being a city councilor.
It's really hard. It's really hard. One of the reasons why you don't see a lot of Black women in public office, and one of the reasons why you don't see a lot of single mothers in elected office, is because it's almost impossible to do.
They don't think they can do it because they don't have somebody there that they see could do it naturally did.
100%, and it's because it's really hard for us. It takes when I say it takes a village, it takes everything. It takes all of my friends, it takes all of my family, it takes my dad, my next door neighbors, you know, helping me get the kid off the school bus, spending time with him, hanging out with him while I'm recording a podcast, that kind of stuff. It takes everybody for me to be able to be an elected official. And even though I represent a district that has been really gracious with letting me parent and serve at the same time, I bring Zaire to community meetings. He's everywhere. Everybody knows him. It's still really hard to manage and balance. And so my hope is that I can help make it easier for people who are parents or people who are single parents to be in elected office.
Do you have any advice for somebody that's kind of like trying to balance like motherhood and their work, day-to-day work as like a, let's say like like just a big job?
Yeah, I think set the standard early. I think you want to make sure that you're prioritizing your family, and you have to set the standard at work and with the people who are counting on you about what that looks like. It looks like maybe most of your meetings are going to be on Zoom, so you can be at home with the kid. Maybe if you're going to show up somewhere, like he's going to be with you. And when you set that expectation really early on, it's easier to kind of live up to it. I think we need people who run organizations and run places of business. They need to really create a culture where people feel comfortable being like, yeah, I'm going to show up to this meeting. My kid is going to be with me, right? Like he's going to be sitting in the corner or doing something. We really have to create an intergenerational culture.
That kind of safe space.
Yeah, it's like everybody's here, right? The kids are here, the grandparents are here, people's parents are here, the teenagers are here. That's how you build community, and that's how things really, really get done when we're all doing it together. So my advice would be to just get yourself a support system and set expectations about what you can and can't do really early.
And how old is he?
This is my son Zaire is 7. He's a second grader.
Ooh, that's so exciting being a second grader.
Yeah, being a second grader is really exciting for him. He's doing really well at school, so yeah, we're happy.
Do you have any upcoming projects or like things that you guys are working on?
Yeah, so we have 2 pieces of legislation that I'm working on in the city council that I think are really important. One of them is making it so that people that are non-citizens can vote in their municipal elections, so they can vote for the city council and the mayor. Right now they can't. The reason why that's really important to me is because my dad, who's been in this country for 30 years, is a legal resident, but he's not a citizen. And so even though he lives in my district, he wasn't able to vote for me. And so I really want people who have given their entire lives to this community, they work here, they pay taxes, they should be able to elect their representatives. So I've been working on that the last 2 years on the council. I'm hoping to wrap that up before I go. And as the chair of the housing committee on the city council, I've been working on finalizing a renter's bill of rights in the city, so that renters have really clear outlined rights when it comes to dealing with their landlords and protections. So those are 2 things that I'm really excited about while I'm on the council. At the end of this year, I'll be done with my term, and I hope that my next project is going to be spending more time with my kid.
So what's your verdict of how you feel at the end of this podcast?
I feel excited about like what I shared. I feel a little exposed. I was like, oh, I'm gonna talk about high school. Now I'm like, everybody knows everything about me. But I'm really excited that I came. I'm really happy.
I'm excited that you came.
Thank you for having me. So that's my verdict. My verdict is I feel good.
Well, thank you for coming, and we really enjoyed having you on our podcast.
Thank you all. Keep up the good work.
Okay. Thank you for watching. If you have any questions for Kendra, you can put it down in the comments down below. Please follow her socials at
Councilor Kendra Lara, CllrKendraLara, on Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, Facebook.
Instagram.
every platform.
Every
Every platform. It will be on the screen
SoundCloud.
and in the description down below.
You never know.
In the description down below. Thank you for watching and hope you come back. Bye.
See you on the next verdict.